Y'all go to the playground. Go. Shoo, shoo, shoo. Knuckleheads. So over the past year or so, I have had this goal in my mind and something brewing. To put all the pieces together, there is some inspiration. There's two animals in here. Hey guys, welcome back to Cross Bison. Had a little problem here. Really started about 2 years ago, and today I've got to change some things because we've got a mess. A couple years ago, if you guys don't remember, Dunbar was here while Big Joe was here. They're here at the same time. We tried to create two herds and rotate them around the Ponderosa. Figured out real quick, this ain't gonna work. Since then, we switched those bulls around and stuff. Well, when we figured out, hey, this isn't gonna work, one day we had Dunbar up here and Big Joe out in the pasture. Well, Big Joe came up here to visit Dunbar because, you know, that's just what mature bulls do. And, yep, he agrees. See, he agrees. He knows. When Dunbar was up here, he Dunbarified this water tank. It ended up, he knocked it off of the concrete slab. He put a bunch of holes in it. The water was running all the way through our corral. It was a great day to be a bison rancher. Well, it's been leaking for a while now. So what I did was I actually patched this one up. I used some Flex Seal. I got it to where it was doing okay. And the leaks slowed way down. But as you can tell, there is some water here because, well, 2 years later, it's still leaking. And it's gotten to the point to where I can't patch it anymore. So we had to get a new one. We're gonna replace this one that has been Dunbarified with the new one today. Cold weather's setting in and we can't have this freezing because this one actually is insulated and you can put a little heating element in it as well because I have a little outlet sitting right inside here. And the fact that you can plug it in, you can lay that heating element in the tank. These won't freeze. Our yearlings are in here right now. Later on, we're going to talk about two special animals in this group right here, my yearlings. That really is the vision of our mission and some upcoming stuff that we've been talking about recently that Marissa and I got going about creating a foundation. We're going to talk about the inspiration behind those two animals and what we plan on doing with them. Yeah, you can kind of see some holes here. Yep, there's a good one right there. There's a nice Dunbar hole. I took the door off of it. We're gonna go ahead and shut this off. All right, that's nice. So our water shut off. Yeah, this definitely needs to be replaced. I mean, there's grass growing in there. You can see the patch holes right there. Outlet doesn't need to be sitting in water, that's for sure. Whew. Hey, little Joe. I guess first things first, we need to drain this bad boy, so we're gonna push that in. Woo! Water is gonna go everywhere. So I went to go grab some tools, and the two I was talking about earlier came up to inspect. Here they are right here. I don't know if you guys recognize those two yellow tags. Hint, hint. They came to inspect and see what was going on. Now here come the rest of them. There's Gunny. Gunny! Oh, yep, she heard me. Yep, you know Gunny. We'll talk about these two guys in a little bit. I know you guys are curious. First thing we gotta do, unbolt them right here. I think they're excited about their new water. They just can't help it, too curious. Oh, shoot. Well, I'm trying to work on this, and the knucklehead teenagers are getting into everything. Seriously? Y'all get out. Shoo. Shoo. Go. Kids, go. 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 Shoo. Go. Y'all go to the playground. Go. Shoo. 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 Knuckleheads. Some people's kids, I'll tell you. Anytime you try to do bison construction, there's always some onlookers. They're way too curious. Get out of the way. Well, we've got our new water tank mounted. Made some adjustments with the plumbing under here for a shutoff. And now we just gotta do the rest of it right here. We'll be good to go. I don't know if you guys have ever seen one on the inside of these insulated wires before, but there's the plumbing. It comes up. Got a 3-inch PVC threaded end. We screw right into the water tank. Got all of our plumbing back together. Now we still have to put on the lid, but got our float valve on here, plug, that plug, clean out, drain, whichever one you want to call it. So now I'm gonna turn my water on here. Blast. Appreciate the Bison for being patient. I've got it all back in sync. Just need to put the lid on. Now look at them. They look like they're in timeout. Bad kids. I'll let you out later. I want to thank Jackery for sponsoring today's video. You guys want to hear something wild? We've got some workers here, and the power company, which we've talked about before, showed up. They warned me a couple months ago when we needed new service for all this right here. Since you're up in your amperage, we're gonna come in and replace your transformer. They didn't tell me when exactly. They said it could be 8 weeks. Well, I've got some guys here, local guys, and they're working, and he hollered at me and said, hey, do you know when they're gonna get the power back on? I was like, they didn't even tell you? Well, I didn't even know they were coming today. Didn't get a warning that they were gonna turn the power off or anything. Nothing. In the middle of him cutting some rock, they just cut the power off, he said. But thankfully, I had a backup plan. I was obviously pretty frustrated, but the workday shouldn't stop because someone forgot to knock on the door. Jackery Home Power 3600 Plus, designed specifically for modern households of 3 to 6 people, combining power, safety, and portability in one complete home backup package. As soon as the grid dropped, Jackery rolled in, literally. Jackery's essential home backup solution powers your essential devices during an outage. No noise, no fumes, no breaker flipping. Just plug in and go. 6,000 plus cycles, delivering over 10 years of durability. This is a long-term investment, engineered to last 10 plus years, not just an emergency gadget. Even with daily use, the battery still retains 70% capacity after 10 years. That includes a 3-year standard warranty with a 2-year extension, far above industry standards for long-term peace of mind. This Black Friday Cyber Monday sale, save up to 65%. When the power company cuts your day in half, the Jackery 3600 Plus gives it right back. If you want a peace of mind and like that, grab it now while it's up to 65% off. Our link is below. So if you guys have watched a couple of our recent videos here lately, Marissa and I have something going on that I've been bringing up a little bit here and there. Here recently, I was sitting down with the Big Joe herd, and I was breaking down our mission, kind of what our goals were and why we raise the American bison. I talked a little bit about the backstory and the passion of where the inspiration came from to raise these animals and why we raise them now and what our goals and our focus is with them. And then I took y'all out to our hay meadow, one of my favorite places on the Ponderosa, and I broke down really what's going on, not only here in Oklahoma, but in the middle of America. The loss of one of the most endangered ecosystems currently, the native grasslands. And if you guys have been following us along here the past 2 or 3 years, we've dove into regenerative ranching. We've dove into trying to restore our native grasses. And with all that going on, focus on the legacy and the genetic lineage of the American bison. I talked about the impact that the keystone species of the Great Plains, the American bison, and the impact it has on grasslands. When we got into bison ranching, we didn't know the impact of what bringing back native grasslands and how it would influence our ranching management and our business. So after talking about our mission and how the grasslands are disappearing and how we are working to bring back native grasslands, yes, right here on our own property, the Ponderosa, but the vision and the goals to keep on doing it, maybe some other places. So over the past year or so, I have had this goal in my mind and something brewing. There's some land that we would have the opportunity to maybe expand our operation. It's about 250 acres, can possibly get up to 500 acres. This land currently has cattle on it, but it could use some love. It needs some rest. It has much potential to put bison back on the plains, back where they belong. But to put all the pieces together, there is some inspiration, like I was talking about earlier. There's 2 animals in here. If you guys don't remember, this past spring, March of 2025, I drove up to Springfield, Missouri, and I went to a bison sale. And I purchased 2 bison. Those 2 bison were part of, or what we're very confident with, are Yellowstone animals. Raised from the Modoc tribe in northeastern Oklahoma. They were selling some of these Yellowstone lineages, and we were able to get our hands on 2 of them. One of them is right here behind me, with the vision of conserving and restoring the bison, native grasslands, and expanding our operation. We're doing what we can right now to do that. Really, the inspiration behind it are these 2 young Yellowstone bulls back here. They've flourished, they look terrific. If we're able to expand and get a hold of some more land, my goal is to take what I would call the national park animals, which is like Yellowstone, any tribal animals, because they get a lot of the really good genetic bison. My goal would be to create a herd on this specific land where we could have some of the best genetics that we have today on that property. Not only would we be focusing on the genetics of some of the purest and strongest genetically of bison today, we'd be bringing back the grasslands, where they roamed for hundreds of years. So you may ask, what are you going to be able to do with this land? Well, one, we want to get the native grass back on it. You've heard me talk about how the American bison is a keystone species, and if managed correctly, you can bring back native grasses. There has to be some human intervention. There may have to be some seeding. I do know this, and I've learned that here at the Ponderosa. If you give your land time, it can give you production. It'll give you more than you expect. You just have to give it time. You've got to graze it right. You've got to have some management on it. But if you give it time, those native grasses will come back. Those seeds are sitting there, just waiting on an excuse, waiting on a reason to come up. We want time and the bison to be that excuse. What we'd be able to do is focus on this genetic lineage of some of the purest bison we could get. I want bison from Yellowstone. I would love to have some from maybe Teddy Roosevelt National Park, the Wichita Mountains in Oklahoma. Some of the purest, last remaining genetics from some of the herds that almost disappeared from us in the late 1800s. That's the passion. So not only would we be able to continue to manage our herd here, the Big Joe herd, the Dunbar herd, we could have our own essential wild herd at this property. We'd be able to rotate correctly with some new fencing and water. We can manage bulls such as these two back here with dedicated breeding groups. This kind of control shapes the future of American bison genetics right here in Oklahoma. With the opportunity and the right land, we can build a genetics program that focuses on strong and healthy, well-built bison, animals that represent the resilience these species are known for. Now, selective breeding isn't about domesticating bison. It's about preserving genetics, strength, conformation, foundation traits, such as gaining on grass. Let bison be bison. That's what we want. This isn't only about restoring native grasses. It's about rebuilding a complete ecosystem. We love our birds. We love the insects. And the bison can complete that entire circle. That's why we call it the keystone species of the Great Plains. We want to take a holistic approach to this and put you guys right there in the front seat with us. This right here is that influence. This is one of the Yellowstone bulls right here. We can take bulls like this one right here. Some of the, Tom's hanging out back there with us too as well. We can take bulls like this one right here, the 498 bull, and build foundation and genetically sound herds. Guys, there's something special about the Yellowstone bison. The bison at Yellowstone National Park are some of the last remaining caught genetics on the frontier when this species almost became extinct and they started the national park and put the bison there. There's something special about these animals. Their genetic makeup, their conformation, their feet, their build, they are built to survive drought and extreme colds. These animals used to roam from Mexico to Canada in 1 year. That's a special animal, and how great would it be to have a herd full of them roaming back on the Great Plains, restoring native grasslands and rebuilding an ecosystem right here in the middle of our country. 250 acres would let us expand the herd, protect genetics, restore prairie, and create a model for bison ranching that future generations could learn from. We've already started sharing the vision. Now we're building toward it, step by step, pasture by pasture. More land isn't just more space, it's more life. Doing things the right way and leaving something the way it should be left. And we can't wait to bring you with us on that journey. You guys, let us know what you think about us starting a foundation to protect the native grasslands while raising and focusing on the genetics of the American bison. We'd love to have a comment from you. Thank you guys for watching us today. I want to thank Jackery for sponsoring today's video. Our link is below. We'll see you guys soon. We're gonna keep on bison ranching.